I'm Michael Munsell, lecturer in Environmental and Geographical Science. Today we're going to have an introduction to Gantt charts in Microsoft Excel 2016. Gantt charts are a great way for undergraduate students to manage projects. To get started, we open an Excel spreadsheet. Projects are divided into a series of tasks, each task having a start date, a certain amount of time allocated to it, and an end date. At the top of column A, I'm going to write in the heading Task, and we can list all our tasks under this heading. At the top of column B, I'm going to type Start Date, and all our start dates will be listed under this heading. And we need to know the amount of time allocated to each task. So at the top of column C, I'm going to type duration for the amount of time allocated. And at the top of column D, I'll type the end date for each task. I'm going to leave row 2 clear at this stage. In row 3, I'm going to type in the heading for our first task. And with undergraduates, it's usually a literature review. You can see that the title of the first task, Literature Review, has spilled over from column A into column B. And we want to keep all our headings, task headings, under the heading Task in column A. So to rectify this, I'm just going to move the cursor to the top of the page between the two columns, column A and column B. When it's located there, on the grey line, I'm going to double click. This will expand column A to accommodate the heading Literature Review. I can now go ahead and type in the start date for the Literature Review. And this start date will be the 15th of January. We'll allow 42 days for this task. And now we need to calculate the end date. We could get out a calendar and figure it out. But in Excel, we can do this quite simply by entering an easy formula. And it is an equal sign, followed by the word sum, then an open bracket. And at this stage, we simply click on the cell with the start date in it. And this cell is B3 because it's in column B, row 3. And it's entered automatically for us. We now have to put in a plus sign and then simply click on the duration, the number of days allocated. In this case, that number is in cell C3. We now close it with another bracket and press return, and the exact end date is entered in for us. I can now go on and enter the next task in our project, and that's a proposal. That's a project proposal. And we're going to start our project proposal, start writing it on the 1st of March. We're going to allow 14 days to write the project proposal. And again, we have to calculate the end date for the project proposal. However, this time we don't have to enter the formula because we've already done it in the cell above. And when we click there, you can see the sum in the formula bar. All we've got to do is go to the cell where we've written it in, click on the bottom right-hand corner of that cell and drag it down. Excel will automatically fill out the correct date in the cell required. We can now go on and type in our next task in the project, which is a pilot survey. We'll give a start date of the 20th of March. We will allow 10 days for our pilot survey. And again, we must fill in the end date. And like last time, all we've got to do is go to the cell above, Move the cursor to the bottom right hand corner of that cell and drag it down. Our next task is some field research. We'll start our field research on the 5th of April and we'll allocate 21 days of field research. And again, we'll enter our end date by clicking on the cell above on the bottom right hand corner of that cell and dragging it down. Now we need to enter the next task, which is data analysis, which we will begin on the 1st of May. We'll allow 21 days for our data analysis. However, this time, when we click on the cell for the end date, Excel should automatically populate that cell for us with the correct end date, and it does. Excel has spotted a pattern in what we're doing and automatically entered the date for us. And in our final task in our project, we're going to write up our results and discussion. As you can see, again, this title has spilled over from column A into column B. And to rectify that, again, we go to the top of the columns between A and B, double click, and column A expands again to accommodate the entire title. We can now write in our start date of the 25th of May, again allow 21 days duration, and again when we click on the cell it will automatically be populated with the correct end date. Now that we've got our data in the Excel spreadsheet, we need to insert and start to build the Gantt chart. So we go to the top of the page and click on the Insert tab. As you can see, the ribbon changes. We move across until we come to Insert Column or Bar Chart. Click on the drop-down menu and go to 2D Stacked Bar Chart and click on that. We can now see a chart area which is blank, and we need to enter data into this chart area. Move the cursor to the center of the chart and right click. Then scroll up to Select Data. You can see an area here which is blank again. We simply click on Add Data. We have two options here to edit the series. One is the series name and the other is the series values. So the series name, we click on Start Date, and that's entered. And then we click on the series values. But first, we must delete the value that's already in there. Once we've done that, we select all of the values under Start Date. That is all of the start dates. They're entered in. You can see the chart is beginning to form, and we click OK. We now must add extra data. So we click on Add again, and in the series name, we click on Duration. That's entered for us. For the series values, we need to delete the value that's already in there and select all of the duration times that are entered, and click OK. We now have a chart. However, one of the things you may notice is that the tasks under all of the task headings are not listed. They're just listed as a series 1 to 6. So we need to get these task labels onto the side of the Gantt chart. To do this, we go to the right pane where the numbers 1 to 6 are. Click Edit. And where it says Access Label Range, we select all of the task headings that we require. And click OK. Click OK again, and you can see that the task headings are entered onto the chart. Now we've created a Gantt chart, but it needs a lot of tidying up. One of the first things you might notice is that the labels under each task are in reverse order on the chart. So to rectify this, you simply select the chart area and right-click, move down to Format Axis, and over here you'll see Categories in Reverse Order at the bottom of the Format Axis options. Simply click that box, select it, and that will reverse the order of the labels, making them the same as the ones we'd entered in the Excel spreadsheet. The other thing you may notice is that the start date for the literature review is the 15th of January, which is over here. So we don't require all these blue bars. The orange ones are the actual start dates of each task. To get rid of these blue bars, you just simply click on them. You know they're highlighted when the little blue circles are around them. Go to the fill area, click on fill, and then select no fill, and they disappear. We can now just see the actual duration dates for each task. Our next issue is this large gap between the heading literature review and the actual start date. Nothing is happening in this period. So we need to bring the duration bar, the orange one, very close to the literature review and eliminate this gap. To do this, it's very simple. The actual start date of the literature review is the 15th of January. We can see it on the line here and up here. Excel records dates as a number. So if we click on our very first start date here, the 15th of January, and go up to the ribbon and click on the drop-down menu under Custom, we can see a unique number here that correlates to the 15th of January. It's 42750. I'm going to just type that number here so I can remember it. 42750. Now all I've got to do is click on the date bar in the graph, and under Format Axis we can see a minimum number of 42650, and we want to change this to the number we have for the 15th of January. So I'm going to edit that, and it's 42750. Press return, and you can see the bar now moves over to the start date. We have the same issue with the end date. There's a lot of clear space at the bottom. We want to try eliminate some of that. So our very last date we have in, our last end date, is the 15th of June. Again, we click on the 15th of June, go up to the ribbon, and under Custom, click on the drop-down menu. We'll see a unique number for the 15th of June, which is 42901. Again, I'm just going to type that number down here, 42901, just so that I can remember it. Again, I'll click on the dates at the top of the chart, and under Format Axis, in the maximum area, I'll see 42910. It's very similar to 42901, so I just need to alter the last two digits, 42901. Click return, and the end bar moves out. We've now created our Gantt chart.